Hello and welcome to the Potty Mouth Preacher, transforming women's minds, bodies, and souls, one F-bomb at a time. I am Lisa Czak, your host. On today's episode, we are talking about how rejection is protection. I want to bless all, not just mothers for Mother's Day, but women, because we are so powerful. We are life givers. And the one thing we all have in common is we are all daughters. We all have a mother, whether we talk to her or not. And so for Mother's Day, I am offering, bring your mother, your daughter, your BFF, your granddaughter, your mother-in-law, your daughter-in-law, your aunt, any woman in your life that has had a significant impact on your life. Bring her on Worthy Woman Wellness Retreat for the price of one. 2 women for the price of 1. Click the link below. I have limited spots for this and it's going away soon. It's not going to last. May 1st, this is done and over with. So click the link below. 2 for 1 Mother's Day special Worthy Woman Wellness Retreats in the Caribbean. You are worth it. As always, I'm going to help you shift gears. I know you got a lot of stuff weighing heavy on your heart. You got a lot of responsibilities and roles that you play in your life. So let's take this time and focus just on you, learning how to put on your own oxygen mask first so that you can show up optimally in your life for others. Close your eyes if you're able to and take 3 deep cleansing breaths in. On the exhale, really let that shit out. So it's don't you feel your whole body relaxing when you do that? Pretend you keep breathing and listening to me. Pretend like your device has a trap door on the back of it. And with each inhale and each exhale, you are exhaling out everything that's weighing heavy on your mind, your body, and your soul. You are exhaling out doubt, fear, shame, frustration, anger, any other thoughts or feelings that you know aren't serving you, that are doing nothing but weighing you down, lowering your energy. You are also releasing all the roles and responsibilities that you have that you're happy to play as wife, mother, daughter, friend, employee, employer, student, granddaughter, mother-in-law, daughter-in-law. I could keep going with the list, right? You're happy to play all these roles, but sometimes you just want some time for yourself. So keep taking those nice deep breaths in and exhaling out so that you can show up for yourself. Fill your own cup first so everyone else around you gets the overflow. And take 3 more nice, deep cleansing breaths in and out, exhaling out anything that isn't serving you. Set your intention for how you want to feel during this episode and after you leave this episode, knowing it's the one thing, how you feel is the one thing that you and you alone control. Nobody else can control you. Nobody can make you feel anyway. You get to decide how you want to feel, no matter what your circumstance, no matter what your situation is, no matter who you're with. No one can make you feel anyway. You get to decide. So you've set your intention. Now allow that intention to just flow through every cell of your body so you carry it with you the rest of this day, knowing what you have ahead of you. And give me another deep cleansing breath in. On your exhale, open your eyes and welcome to the Potty Mouth Preacher. As always, we start with celebrations. And I am celebrating that my clients are experiencing miracles. Miracles, I tell you. They literally will write to me in Voxer, thank you for the miraculous session. Thank you for the miracle. And the miracles that they're experiencing is that they are able to get themselves to a place of peace, right? Even though their life might still be a shit show, they are able to get themselves to a place of peace. In our sessions, they might come in, right? Feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, their brains are fried, they're pulled in a million different directions. I have one client who's dealing with 2 deaths in her family, one of them being her child, and another one being her father-in-law. And yet, when she comes in the session, I help her heal those wounds inside of her, those parts inside of her. And she leaves the session feeling peaceful, even though those people are still dead, right? She still misses those people. She still has that hole in her heart that's never going to go away. And yet she has peace. That is called peace amid the storm. And that is what I help you with, what I'm going to help you with also on Worthy Woman Wellness Retreat in May 2000 in the Caribbean. I am going to help you learn how to get yourself to a place of peace even when the shit hits the fan, right? Even when there's a storm all around you. It's just like that scene. Do you guys ever watch The Chosen? It's in the Bible. It's from a scene in the Bible where the disciples are freaking out. They're in the boat with Jesus. They're freaking out because there's a storm all around, right? And instead of keeping their eye on Jesus, they look at the storm. I forget which disciple it is. I don't remember if it's Peter, Paul, Simon, one of the guys. He takes his eye off Jesus just for a second and puts his eye on the storm around him, and he starts sinking. He starts dying. He literally starts drowning. And that's what happens in our life when we don't keep our focus on God, our focus on Jesus, our focus on ourselves and taking care of ourselves, taking care of our body, seeing what's happening in our body so that we can stay peaceful. We start to drown. And that's when we start to feel irritable and bitchy and resentful and like you just want to run away to the Caribbean and go on my retreat, right? I have a lot of women say that to me. I just want to go on your retreat because I just need to get away. I just need to escape. I'm going to make it so that when you leave Worthy Woman Wellness Retreat, you're never going to need another vacation. You're no longer going to be waiting for the weekend or your day off or when this happens or when that happens. No matter what happens in your life, no matter what your circumstance or situation is, no matter what asshole is around you, you will be able to get yourself to a place of peace within minutes at first, seconds after a lot of practice. So click the link below to join Worthy Woman Wellness Retreat in May. Registration is closing though. You got to hurry up. It's closing in a couple days. You got to hurry up, book that spot, and we will see you there. All right. Now, we did shifting gears. We did celebrations. We're going to get real now. We're going to get into some real talk now. So before I do that, though, I want you to know that if you are the first to subscribe to the Potty Mouth Preacher, if you have not yet, if you are one of the first to like and leave a comment, you're going to get this book. This is my story, my shit show, how I developed peace amid my shit show in 400 pages. You are going to get this book, a signed copy for free, if you are the first to leave a comment. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, now we got that taken care of. So, rejection is protection. That's our topic today. What does that mean? Because being rejected does not feel good, right? If you are human and you're walking around this earth, you have been rejected in some way, disappointed. Rejection can come in many forms. Maybe it's rejection, you asked somebody out and they said no, right? Maybe you weren't invited to a party when you were younger or older. Maybe you had a party and nobody came, right? Maybe you applied for the job, you didn't get the job. You applied for the school, but you didn't get the school. You didn't get the scholarship, right? The list goes on and on and on. And, or maybe like you've been trying for a baby and you're having trouble getting pregnant, like we did, right? We tried. I say the T word is a bad word, try, because it means you're giving yourself an out. We actually, when it comes to having a baby, you are trying to have a baby, and we were not having a baby. So I guess maybe that does apply, right? Either you are or you aren't having a baby. We were not having a baby for 6 years. My point is rejection comes in many different forms. Or rejection could be that someone, you had expectations of someone doing something for you and they didn't come through for you. Rejection is God's way of protecting you. God is always working mysteriously behind the scenes, right? And we don't even know it, right? We're making plans, going about our life, and he's just kind of laughing. He's like, okay, yeah, that's not going to be a good idea, but okay, you can see how that works out for you. So I see this so much in my own life. In fact, just recently, this is fresh in my mind, which is why I'm doing an episode on it. Because just recently, I was invited to go to Workout Anytime. My daughter and I were invited to go to Workout Anytime. It's our gym that we go to here in Tennessee to promote Worthy Woman Retreat. And at the last minute, I was like, maybe I'll bring like a box of books with me, right? I had a box of books that I got author copies. My book's been out for about 1.5 years now. It's not like it's a new book. And I've never done a book signing. Yet I had a box of books in case I ever decided to, right? But I never actually pursued it. And so I bring the box at the last minute and I go and we're talking to women, promoting Worthy Woman Wellness Retreat. And they see the book sitting there. And not just women, but men were going crazy for my books. My daughter's like, why are all these dudes buying your book, Mom? She says, I got the Riz. Do you know what that is? RIZZ. It's the Riz. This is what the kids say now. I guess when you have charisma, it's called the Riz. So apparently I got the Riz. But the guys were buying the books for their not for their husbands, for their wives and their girlfriends and fiancés. And so I was signing it to them. And they were also very interested in sending their wives and girlfriends on the retreat, which, by the way, Mother's Day is coming up. And guys, this would be a great gift to give your woman, right? She has to put up with you all the time. Ladies, drop this hint to your man. In fact, my very first retreat I ever had in Destin, Florida, the very first woman to sign up, it was Christmas time, and she said to her new husband, she just got married, and she wasn't used to being married. She was a single mom for a long time. So she was like, oh, I really want to go on Lisa's retreat. I just don't know if I can afford it. And he handed her his credit card and he said, Merry Christmas, babe. I love that story. So maybe your man wants to do something, right? Guys need help. They need our help in saying, hey, this is what I want, right? Because we assume they're going to read our minds or they should just know us. No. Be the woman that says, hey, I would really like to go on Lisa and Eliana's retreat for Mother's Day. I'd like to bring my daughter with me. This would be a great Mother's Day present for me. Drop that hint. It's more than a hint though, right? You're actually saying what you want. As women, it's okay. Like, it's okay for us to tell our man, this is what I want. Anyway, so I was actually surprised at how many men were picking up the retreat flyers and wanting to send their wives and their daughters on this retreat. And they were just buying up the books. And suddenly I look and all the books are gone. And I was like, wow, I can't believe I sold out all of my books. Like, I was not expecting expecting that, right? And this is important because I realized that I had those books sitting in a box for a year and a half, never even doing a book signing. And it hit me why I never did a book signing is because of all of the times, right, that I wasn't invited to parties, that I had a party, nobody came. Like growing up, that's what I went through. I was always had this fear that like to this day, even as an adult, like I never wanted to have a party. Like my birthday, I'm like, no, I don't want a party. I want a party because I have this fear that nobody's going to come to my party, right? They're going to reject me. And it didn't hit me until I accidentally had this book signing. It was a complete accident, right? I'm there promoting the retreat, and yet I just sold out all my books. Like, what's happening here? That I never had a book signing before this because I was too afraid nobody would come and nobody would buy my book. I remember the first person to ever buy my book. I remember feeling shocked, right? In person, not online. I'm not talking about people that bought online. I'm talking about while I was standing there at Workout Anytime. The very first woman to buy my book, I started crying because I was like, and I'm like, why am I crying? I was really shocked that somebody actually wanted to buy my book in person like that. And so I had to do some healing, right? I had to do a lot of healing around this feeling of, oh, rejection, right? What if nobody comes? What if what if nobody buys my book? And if it wasn't for me going there, if it wasn't for this retreat and going there to promote the retreat, and at the last minute, that was God planting that seed in my head saying, hey, hey, like, not, tapping me on the shoulder, Lisa, Lisa, the books, take the books, take the books. Or my mom who's up in heaven with Jesus. I could hear my mom doing that. Lisa, Lisa, the books, Lisa, take the books, they'll buy them. And I never would have known that if I hadn't accidentally done this book signing. And so my daughter came and joined me because we were promoting the retreat, and my husband dropped her off. And it wasn't until later on that my daughter and I went to celebrate. We went to dinner. We had a celebration dinner for me selling out my books and people signing up for the retreat. And it wasn't until later that my husband came home and I realized, wow, he dropped my daughter off to my first book signing and never even came in, like to see me or to say hi or anything. Now, granted, he didn't know it was a book signing. I didn't know it was a book signing either. And I said to him, I'm really hurt that you didn't come to my first book signing. And as the words were coming out of my mouth, though, I was like, am I? Am I actually hurt? Because I know how a hurt feels. Drop in comments if you feel hurt in your body. Like, how do you know you're hurt? Where do you feel hurt in your body? And I know where I feel hurt in my body, and I wasn't feeling it. Like, I was feeling nothing in my body but peace. And I was like, how could that be? Like, why am I saying I feel hurt, but I don't really feel hurt? And then I started searching for it, right? Like in my body, like, do I feel hurt? Am I just numb? Or I started questioning the peace. And I was like, you know what? No, I actually am okay that he dropped my daughter off for this event we were having and never came in to say hi or see me. Like, I was actually at peace with it. And this was shocking to me. It's still a little shocking to me because when you finally have this sense of peace, this, you know what? It doesn't matter if nobody shows up, right? Because God's going to be there and Jesus is going to be there. I know my mom, her spirit is always there, right? Because she's with Jesus. And so it doesn't matter who else shows up. It doesn't matter what anybody says to me, what they don't say to me. Like, I don't take things personally anymore. This is an amazing, amazing state to be in. I'm going to help you reach this state on Worthy Woman Wellness Retreat, by the way. I'm going to help you discover how you can also stop taking things so personally. Stop feeling like you're being rejected, right? And the reason this is like, I could have looked at it like rejection, right? My husband didn't show up to my first book signing, my first accidental book signing. But instead, I was just like, okay, yeah, like I guess it would have been nice to have him there, but I'm okay. Like I'm actually like peaceful and I'm actually okay. This is this is God saying, this is God protecting me also, right? God saying, "Hey, you know what? You know I'm always here." The dream team, I call them. God, Jesus, and my mom. That's my dream team. Those are my main coaches that I go to. My main guy. That's my spirit guide. That's who I go to for guidance. Seriously. Even though I have coaches and I have a personal trainer, my main dream team is my mom, Jesus, and God. After Worthy Woman Wellness Retreat is over, you are still going to get my support and guidance and the Worthy Woman Wellness accountability group. We're going to meet monthly so that you stay on track. I don't want you just in this little bubble for 4 nights and 5 days in the Caribbean, and then you go home to all your bad habits again and go back to your old ways. No, you are going to get me for a whole year. So think about times in your life where you can look back and you were rejected by something or someone didn't show up to something, right? And you see that it was God protecting you, or because you also see that there's a lesson that you were meant to learn, or some epiphany that you were meant to have, or some light bulb moment, right? So if my husband if that hadn't happened, like if he had just come into that, accidental book signing and that promotion of our retreat, I wouldn't have had this realization that, wow, I'm okay, right? It doesn't matter to me either way, that I'm at peace, in other words, no matter what happens. And what if you have this attitude from this point on, that anytime something doesn't go your way, or you feel either you were rejected or you feel rejected, or in whatever way, that you can say, good. You can say, praise Jesus. Praise Jesus. Imagine that. I'm here to tell you firsthand. I'm telling you, I wasn't sure that would ever be possible for me personally. I have seen clients go through it, yes. But to experience it firsthand is a completely, I don't even have the words, right? And I'm the potty mouth preacher. I'm supposed to have the words. That same day that happened, speaking of the potty mouth preacher, that same day that happened, we've had some infighting in our family since my mom passed away, right? A lot of wounds are coming up. And we have these wounds inside our hearts, and they shoot out and they attack other people. They spew onto other people if we don't heal them. And I see that happening in my own family. And the title of my podcast, The Potty Mouth Preacher, in case you don't know what you're listening to, has come under attack, not by like the public or by my audience, but by my own family. Not everybody, just a couple people in my family. And this one particular person actually said that I'm a blasphemer because of the title of my podcast. And it was said to me, not to me actually, it was in a text that I wasn't even supposed to see. And it happened the same night that I was on a high, right? I'm like, I just had my first accidental book signing. I sold out of books. I'm handing out retreats left and right, just on a high. And first, like I have that realization, oh, my husband didn't come to my book signing. Well, I wasn't really upset about that. So that was like, whoa, that's okay. I have peace, right? And then it's like the devil's like, oh, okay, first that happened. Okay, so that didn't bother you. How about this? How about a person in your family calling you a blasphemer because of the name of your podcast? The devil is like, I'm going to get you now. Now I'm going to get you, Lisa. I'm going to drag you down. I'm going to take you back into the darkness so you stop shining your light as bright as you are. And it didn't faze me. It's like that emoji face, right? That's how I felt. And it's this epiphany because rejection is protection. And realizing that you no longer care about being rejected and that you can actually say, good, good. I'm glad that that person rejected me. I'm glad that that person didn't show up. I'm glad that that person is calling me names because it gives me a chance to see that I have peace, that I don't care what anybody else says about me, thinks about me. I don't care who shows up to my things, who doesn't show up to my things. That I know God is always with me. That my dream team, God, Jesus, and my mom are always with me. And that's who I care about impressing, right? That's who I care about saying, like, the last thing I want, right, is to get up to heaven and be rejected. That's the only thing I care about. I only care about being rejected by God or Jesus. That's my only care. And I know that's not going to happen because I believe in Jesus. And all you need to do is believe that Jesus is your Savior and you're in heaven. I mean, that doesn't mean you go around being, total jerk and inconsiderate and mean and all that. I know though, like, and I'm at peace with it. That's the only person I care about following, right? I no longer care. I don't even, followers, who cares? I want to follow one. That's it. So, your soul work is going to be to list all the times that you were rejected and see how God actually protected you. And list all the times that you were rejected in the ways that I've been talking about, right? They didn't show up and they weren't there for you, or they were mean to you, or they called you a name, all those things. And see how you were protected, how you had to experience that rejection so that you can see how far you've come. Like, I want you to see how far you've come. What I do in this podcast with my clients, what I'm doing on Worthy Woman Retreat, is I'm meeting you where you are and shining a light on where you're headed. And so we only look back, right? My dad always says that the rear view mirror is smaller because you're just supposed to glance back every now and then, right? But you're not headed back there. Even if you want to, you can't go back there. You know how I say the C word is a bad word? Can't? Usually you have to do burpees if you say you can't do something. This is something you cannot do. You cannot go back in the past and relive any of that or change any of that. What you can do is move forward. So you're going to glance in the rear view mirror to look back to see how many times, right, were you rejected and you were protected? And how many times now do you see that rejection that you're now at peace with, that you don't even see it as rejection, is actually God saying, look how far you've come, right? You're healed. You no longer have an emotion attached to it. You know you're healed when you no longer have an emotion attached to a memory or an experience that's either happening now in the moment or that has happened in the past. Right? Like, I'm rattling all this off to you like I'm rattling off a cupcake recipe, right? Because there's no emotion attached to it. And what I'm talking about didn't even happen years ago or something. It happened last week. So it's fresh in my mind, but there's no emotion attached to it. So that's all I have to say, except for registration is closing for Worthy Woman Wellness Retreat. We're going to dive into all of these topics that I've been talking about on the podcast. If you want to know more about the retreat, get my book, Portal Tears, and head to the Destiny chapter. And that tells you that's my first retreat I ever had in Destin, Florida. And it'll give you a really good idea of what happens on these retreats and what to expect. And always remember, you are worth it.